It may have taken the better part of 30 years to get a sequel to Blade Runner, but Blade Runner 2049 was more than worth the wait. Denis Villeneuve delivered a film that built upon the original themes of Ridley Scott's sci-fi masterpiece while wrangling a talented cast that includes Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, and Harrison Ford reprising his role as Blade Runner protagonist Rick Deckard. On top of winning 2 Academy Awards, Blade Runner 2049 also paved the way for Villeneuve to work on the Dune film, even though he'd later discussed the doubts he had during the filming process. What Blade Runner fans might not know is that there are a trio of short films that bridge the 30-year gap between the original film and Blade Runner 2049. Not only do these short films provide a deeper look into Blade Runner 2049's cast of characters, but they also explore key events in the Blade Runner timeline. Even more surprising is the creative talent that brought these films to life. The first Blade Runner short film, 2036, Nexus Dawn, is centered on ruthless industrialist Neander Wallace, Jared Leto, as he argues for the mass production of his Nexus 9 replicants. He eventually manages to convince the council by having one of these replicants decide between killing Neander or taking his own life. That was followed by 2048, Nowhere to Run, which follows replicant sapper Morton, Dave Bautista, as he attempts to make a life for himself, eventually bonding with a single mother and her daughter. 2036, Nexus Dawn, and 2048, Nowhere to Run add a deeper context to the events of Blade Runner 2049, specifically how replicants transform from being feared and hated to being loyal servants. Wallace's right-hand woman, Love, Sylvia Hooks, is utterly committed to carrying out his will, even murdering anyone who stands in his way. On the other hand, Morton winds up using his immense strength to kill a group of muggers, which forces him to go into hiding and sets the stage for Gosling's Officer K to find him when Blade Runner 2049 begins. 36, Nexus Dawn, and 2048, Nowhere to Run also hold the distinction of being directed by Ridley Scott's son Luke Scott, who managed to tell a compelling story across both films, despite the fact that they're only 6 minutes long. He accomplishes this with shots that push in on the characters, allowing the camera to linger on their faces. That way, the audience can notice the subtle facial expressions that betray a character's inner emotions, whether it's Wallace growing irritated with the questions that lawmakers present to him, or the desolate look in Bautista's eyes once Morton is forced to run. In fact, between 2048, Nowhere to Run, and the opening of Blade Runner 2049, Bautista cements himself as a phenomenal character actor. The third and final Blade Runner short film, Blade Runner Blackout 2022, took an entirely different approach from 2036, Nexus Dawn, and 2048, Nowhere to Run. It was an anime short under the direction of Shinichiro Watanabe, and watching Blade Runner Blackout 2022, it's pretty clear that this is a Watanabe project, as it features the signature mix of violence and character dynamics that he deployed in Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Blade Runner Blackout 2022 also features a major moment in Blade Runner history, as replicants Iggy, Jovan Jackson, and Trixie, Lucy Christian, wind up destroying the Tyrell Corporation's servers, causing a massive blackout. This eventually leads to Tyrell going bankrupt and Neander Wallace rising to power with his new replicants. Blade Runner Blackout 2022 wouldn't be the only time that the worlds of Blade Runner and anime collided. Blade Runner Black Lotus, which takes place in between Blade Runner Blackout 2022 and 2036. Nexus Dawn follows replicant L, Jessica Henwick, as she discovers she was built with a secret purpose. Blade Runner Black Lotus was sadly caught in the Great Max Purge of 2022, but it and the trio of short films proved that there's still life in the Blade Runner universe. Blade Runner fans should definitely check out these films while waiting for Blade Runner 2099.